right, we're back. We're gonna do one more split the middle term factoring question. And this one is gonna be the same process, just a different problem. All right, so the first step is to multiply your coefficient on x squared by your constant. So in this time, it's gonna be 3 times 10, and that's 30. So what we're doing is thinking about the factors of 30 that would add or subtract to be our middle term coefficient, which is negative 17. So there's lots of things that multiply together to give you 30. I'll list as many as I can think of quickly. Okay, and that's all of them, I believe. All right, and so what happens is we're trying to get a negative 17. So 2 and 15 looks like the winning pair here, but how are we going to get a negative 17 when adding 2 and 15? Well, they both need to be negative to make that happen. So negative 2 plus a negative 15 is negative 17. And let's see if this works. Is negative 2 times negative 15 still a positive 30? Because that's what we were originally looking for. And the answer is yes. So it checks on both those requirements. So we know we can split the middle term using those factors. All right, and it does not matter which one you put first. It will change the way the work looks throughout the rest of the steps, so you'll get the same answer. All right, so we'll just do minus 2x. And then you can put the plus, but I think it's just better to go ahead and put minus 15x. Bring down your plus 10, bring down the 3x squared. All right, so we have split the middle term up into these two terms. All right, now it's time to divide it in half and do the greatest common factor of each half. All right, so with 3 and 2, the only number that divides into 3 and 2 is 1, so that is the greatest common factor. So we're going to pull it out, and then always we're going to take out an x on one of these quadratic trinomial questions like we're looking at here. Okay, so if we divide these terms by our greatest common factor, which is 1x, we will be left with 3 divided by 1, which is 3, and x squared divided by x, which is x. Then we'll bring down this sign because it's not going to change when we do 2 divided by 1 and get 2. All right, and our x's, again, are canceled here because x divided by x is just 1. All right, so on this next half, what we've got to do is bring down the sign that's on the next term. It determines what the sign will be on your greatest common factor, because without it changing, if we don't bring that down, it might change something over here that we don't intend to change, and then we would be in trouble. So anyway, the highest number that divides into 15 and 10 would be 5. So our greatest common factor, we're going to think of it as being a negative 5. So when we divide both of our terms here, we will divide by the negative version, and that's going to keep our signs consistent over here as the same way that they are over here. All right, so a negative 15 divided by a negative 5 is a positive 3x, and then a 10 divided by a negative 5 is a minus 2. Negative 2 turns into minus 2. All right, so you can see, because we factored out that negative with that 5, that changed these signs to where these two sets of parentheses will match. They're supposed to every time we get to that step, because that's one of your factors. And then the other factor will be your greatest common factors put together in another set of parentheses. So there are your two factors.